Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Narayanam Namaskritya Narang Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatam Vyasam Tato Jayamudyaret Nastapreshu Bhadreshu Nityang Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavaduttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki. So, glad to be back in Vrindavan. I got a little voice problem, but no big problem. Krishna's taking care. So, we're reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 17, text 15 and 15 through to 17. Okay. It's in prose, so we'll just read the translation. Text number 15. Shukadeva Goswami said, in the tract of land known as Ilavrita-Varsha, the only male person is Lord Shiva, the most powerful demigod. Goddess Durga, the wife of Lord Shiva, does not like any man to enter that land. If any foolish man dares to do so, she immediately turns him into a woman. I shall explain this later in the 9th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Text 16. In Ilavrita-Varsha, Lord Shiva is always encircled by 10 billion maidservants. 10 billion. Must be hard to get close to Lord Shiva. These are maidservants of Goddess Durga who minister to him. Imagine having 10 billion maidservants. The quadruple expansion of the Supreme Lord is composed of Vasudeva, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, and Sankarshan. Sankarshan, the 4th expansion, is certainly transcendental, but because his activities of destruction in the material world are in the mode of ignorance, he is known as Tamasi, the Lord's form in the mode of ignorance. Lord Shiva knows that Sankarshan is the original cause of his own existence, and thus he always meditates upon him in trance by chanting the following mantra. Srila Prabhupada's purport. Sometimes we see a picture of Lord Shiva engaged in meditation. This verse explains that Lord Shiva is always meditating upon Lord Sankarshan in trance. Lord Shiva is in charge of the destruction of the material world. Lord Brahma creates the material world, Lord Vishnu maintains it, and Lord Shiva destroys it. Because destruction is in the mode of ignorance, Lord Shiva and his worshipful deity, Sankarshan, are technically called Tamasi. Lord Shiva is the incarnation of Tamoguna, since both Lord Shiva and Sankarshan are always enlightened and situated in the transcendental position. They have nothing to do with the modes of material nature, goodness, passion, and ignorance. But because their activities involve them in the mode of ignorance, they are sometimes called tamasi. Om Jnanatamarandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitang Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyeva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we'd like to very gratefully thank Srila Prabhupada for bringing us this Bhagavad Purana, Amala Purana, spotless Srimad Bhagavatam, which gives us incredible information of the creation, the universe, the purpose of the universe, the existence of the living beings, and then how he winds everything up and destroys it in the form of Lord Shiva. I'm sure all of you have seen that picture of Srila Prabhupada when he was handed the 5th canto, smiling, looking at the picture of the hellish planets and the activities of the materialists in this material world. Everyone is struggling very much. But here we're hearing about how Ganges, because of Lord Trivikram, penetrated the causal ocean, and how it came from the higher planets on Lord Shiva's head and stayed for a long, long time. How it's carried by unlimited celestial airplanes through the airways. We can just try to imagine. People are very much into fairy tales and magic and stories. They like going to the movies and seeing all these phenomenal activities going on. But I'm sure many of you, sometimes we go up to the Himalayas at night, you see so many stars, thousands, hundreds, thousands, millions. I know I was on the airplane coming from New York. I took a picture of the moon. The sky was purple and the moon was shining bright. And I was thinking, how great is Krishna's creation? We're just like tiny little ants or little frogs. Sound like frogs. We're like little frogs in the well. And we're trying to imagine the size of the ocean, maybe twice the size of my well, okay, 3 times, 5 times the size of my well. So we have no idea, and of course, sometimes our faith is challenged, Shraddha. This faith is the basic initial principle for one to advance in Krishna consciousness, that without faith, then you don't take the other steps because you think, why do I want to hear all these fantastic stories? How is it possible 10 billion maidservants? How is it that Mother Durga can turn someone from a man into a woman? Because we don't have that maybe personal experience in our lifetime, but we're hearing through the eyes of Scripture mountains of gold, and the structure of the universe. I know, I'm sure Bhanabhat also knows that when Prabhupada somehow or other discussed about the moon, the distance of the moon, its location, its size and whatnot, many devotees started feeling, wait a minute, we just went to the moon. The scientists said so. That I saw it on TV. But even, I saw it on, wasn't it Jon Stewart? They were mocking, or they were like, yeah, right. It looked just like the desert in Arizona. They were just making all kinds of, even they themselves don't believe the stories that the so-called scientists are trying to have, spread propaganda. So we're hearing many fantastic and incredible activities, but this is the Lord's supreme will. What is that story of Narada Muni? He's traveling, and this Paka Brahmana, very nice devotee, very clean, doing everything by the rules of the books. And Narada, where are you going? Oh, I'm going to Vaikuntha to visit the Lord. Okay, well, please ask him when the Lord will grant me my freedom from this entanglement of material bodily suffering. Oh, yes. So Narada Muni continued his travels. He met a simple, called cobbler. They make shoes. And just very humble, simple, but also devoted to the Supreme Lord. And the same question came, oh yes, please offer my heartfelt obeisances and ask when I'll have this darshan or come back to my Lord. Although many of you have heard the story, it's always good to hear it again. So Narada Muni, because he's a Vaikuntha man, and he travels through the airways, even beyond this universe to the spiritual kingdom, he takes the audience, the darshan of the Supreme Lord. So it's not, just some story, because God is our Father, and the Father wants us all to be with Him. He wants it very much. And Narada Muni is blessed with that divine love and realization, and empowered not only to give transcendental knowledge, but also to travel unrestricted to the spiritual kingdom. So the darshan took place, and Narada Muni, as leaving, he requested, my Lord, this nice Brahmana, he asked when his liberation will come. So the Lord tells him that, it'll take some time. We have a lot of coverings. We have a lot of anarthas. We have a lot of desires in the heart. The mind has been polluted with so many ideas of sense gratification, how we can manipulate the material energy. So I am very comfortable how I can create a situation where I can have this enjoyment, because we were reading about the enjoyment of the celestial kingdom. They're enjoying, so we should also enjoy. But it's described that the enjoyments of the heavenly planets is, if you put on purple glasses, everything you look at, it looks purple or green or whatever color glasses you have on. So we're covered by material senses and material desires, and our mind is limited to whatever experiences we have had, or things that we have read, or whatever we conjure up by our intelligence. But this doesn't necessarily make it that this material enjoyment that we are experiencing in this material world is actually a source of suffering. Because the real enjoyment, which is covering the senses, can be manifested by following the doctor's prescription. And who is the doctor? Srila Prabhupada. What is the medicine? The holy name, Srimad Bhagavatam. And by hearing the sublime literature, then we gain faith in the association of devotees, chanting before Tulsi Devi, living in the holy Dham. Everyone reads about it, but who is that fortunate enough to give up this materialistic pursuits in this world? We just come to the holy Dham and associate with the devotees. So somehow or other, Brahmanda Brahmite Kaunya Bhagyavan Jeev Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata Beach. Bhagyavan, we're the fortunate ones. So it says, take advantage of the good fortune of being in the association of devotees and appreciating the qualities of their enthusiastic endeavor to become Krishna conscious. So Narada Muni was told that it'll take some time. Nice Brahmana. What about this cobbler? Oh, he's coming next lifetime. Wow, this is a very special benediction. So quickly, that in this lifetime of service, that he is coming back, and he's such a simple, humble Brahmana. And when Narada was leaving, he said, just tell them, if they ask what the Lord was doing, that I was taking an elephant and putting it through the eye of a needle. The little needle for sewing, you put a little thread through there. Us men, we can't do it. We try to put sometimes the ladies are more expert, they know how to put that right through there nicely. That the Lord was putting an elephant through the eye of a needle. So Narada Muni, he comes back as he's traveling, and the Brahmana, oh Narada ji, how are you? And he was very excited to see Narada Muni and inquired, so did you ask the Lord when I will be liberated? Yes, it'll take some time. Well, what was my Lord doing? Oh, he was putting the elephant through the eye of a needle. Oh Narada, you're such a prankster, joke. You're telling so many jokes, like how am I to believe this? The Lord's putting an elephant through an eye of a needle. Oh, you're making fun. So Narada could understand that although he was a devotee, there are many degrees of devotees. There's Uttama-adhikari, and then there's Madhyama-adhikari, lower grades of devotees. Not that Narada Muni was, trying to find fault or anything, but he could understand that this person did not have, implicit faith in the Lord. And then when he went to the cobbler, again the same scenario. He said, "What was my Lord doing?" Oh, he was putting the elephant through the eye of a needle. Oh, my Lord is so incredibly wonderful and fantastic, and he wasn't so eager to know when he was going back, but he said, the Lord will bring you back next lifetime. He said, well, how is it you believe that the Lord is putting the elephant through the eye of a needle? And I guess he told the story about the banyan tree, how the fruit, a huge banyan falls, and there's so many seeds that have the potential of creating so many unlimited other banyan trees, and my Lord is just so wonderful. So this is basically the idea that we're to appreciate the Lord, the devotees, the wonderful activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and this will give us enthusiasm. Actually, it should give us great faith and great happiness to appreciate that our Lord is so powerful, that He can create unlimited universes, and He can expand Himself and lie in the from the causal ocean. That's Mahavishnu, right? The causal ocean. And from breathing, just one breath, and so many unlimited billions and trillions of universes emanate from the pores of His body, and then He expands Himself into each universe as Kshirodakshay Vishnu, Mahavishnu, Garbhadakshay Vishnu, Kshirodakshay Vishnu. Then He also expands Himself as Paramatma, the Lord in the heart. So Krishna's He's in our heart. He's giving us remembrance, knowledge, forgetfulness. Sarvasya chaham hridisana vishto matat smritirgyanam apohanam cha. That Krishna's in everyone's heart. And if you want to know if you want to come back home, Krishna will give guidance. Chaitya Guru, the spiritual master, is actually manifestation of the Lord's potency, the Lord's mercy. And the Lord, He personally comes, He sends His representatives, and Srila Prabhupada, sent by Krishna to save all of us and give us the opportunity to also go back home, back to the spiritual kingdom, where activities are wonderful and everything exists eternally. I know yesterday there were some questions, well, how does this go on in the spiritual world? And we may not understand everything fully, but having faith and having knowledge is, I think Prabhupada describes it, the mango, the unripe mango is green, and you may think, well, it doesn't, how is the mango the king of fruits? You know, it's green, but let it ripen. As it ripens in the tree, and it naturally, when it's ready, that sweetness and that ripe flavor is available. Or even a young child trying to explain to him the intimate relationship of adults. You know, it's just words. It doesn't make sense because he doesn't have the ability to comprehend or understand. So we're maturing and cultivating our understandings by following this process of sadhana bhakti. So many rules and regulations. And of course we can study very detailed how is it this Aniruddha, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, Vasudeva, and how Lord Shiva, he's meditating on Sankarshan, the Lord, and praising him as, you are the Supreme Lord, and this is his full meditation. As we heard some days back, that we don't worship the demigods, but we also offer respect, because we understand that demigods are representatives of the Supreme Lord, and they are devotees. And although some of their activities are also, in our estimation, a little bit questionable, you know, what are all those eyes doing on Lord Indra? You know, it's like, well, is he a devotee? Yes, we cannot fit everything in our square mentality. The roundness of the spiritual kingdom doesn't fit quite right. But it's all very wonderful. And Lord Shiva, he is worshipped by many who have many desires, but he also is praying to the Lord Sankarshan that you please deliver all the sincere devotees. You know, he's the topmost Vaishnava because he has a great compassion. And when others worship him, Ashutosh, he's very easily pleased and also very easily angered. And so, obviously, we don't want to displease Lord Shiva. We want to worship him as a devotee of the Lord, Sankarshan. And he's also like an incarnation of the Lord, as described, milk curdled to yogurt. Yogurt is the same thing as milk, but in a different manifestation, a different purpose. So I'm sure some of the pundits can explain more deeply in a more esoteric way, but we should feel very pleased to have Lord Shiva praying to the Lord for our benefit. And also he's, in one sense, saying that let all the materialists stay and rot in the material world. So we have a choice. If we choose that we want to become devotee, that we want to serve the Lord, and we want to develop these qualities, our genuine natural qualities, then we have so much help from Prabhupada, from Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. His appearance day is coming up. Is that tomorrow? I think it's tomorrow. Yeah? Day after tomorrow? So we have so many well-wishers guiding us to free us from the mode of ignorance. But the followers of Lord Shiva, are described that they are in ignorance, and that, they're imitating or, basically wanting to enjoy in this material world. This is a sign of ignorance. And all of us are guilty of that, because otherwise we wouldn't be in this material world. But after we recognize our disease, then we got to go to the doctor to take care of it. Just like I got to go to the doctor to take care of it. So then you become free from your illness. You become free from your covering, your anger, your lust, your envy. These are the ornaments of the materialistic people in this world who want to enjoy the pleasures, imitating God, because who is the supreme enjoyer? Bhoktaram Jagatapasan Sarvaloka Maheshwaram Suhridang Sarvadehinam Gyatva Mang Shanti Mrishyati. Was that right? The Krishna, he is the proprietor of all the worlds. He's the supreme enjoyer. He may be the supreme enjoyer, but we try to compete. And let him be the supreme enjoyer. We'll just be middle enjoyers or little enjoyers. But that enjoying spirit will not give us the fruit that we're looking for, because everyone's looking for happiness. Everyone wants to become shanti, free from anxiety, free from fear, free from all the tribulations. As we get older and older, then the more sufferings come. The knees don't work, and you lose all your teeth, and you can't see properly, and your skin slackens, and everyone see a little young baby or cute. I had my grandsons, and you think, oh, they're so cute and so nice, lovable. But old people, you think, oh, grandpa smells, or he's got weird things growing his hair out of his ears and everywhere. So everything starts deteriorating in this material existence. So while we have time in this lifetime, we should use our energy for cultivating and awakening our Krishna consciousness. And try to be humble. Trinata. When you read Chaitanya Charitamrita, the Supreme Lord, he just exhibiting such humility when Devananda Pandit brought this nice oil for the Lord. He thought, my Lord, because he labored by taking a long distance, a big pot of some nice oil for the Lord, for his service, in a mood of service. But the Lord said, no, I'm a sannyasi, how can I'm not, and he became very upset, and he threw the pot down and broke it, and he felt very frustrated by that. And then also he wanted to make nice bedding for the Lord. But the Lord says, I'm a sannyasi. I should as a sannyasi, I should lie on the floor, not with these comfortable pillows and bedding and whatnot. But somehow he did something where the Lord finally accepted something by, he didn't want to upset Damodar Pandit, yeah. And this was the key focal point for making advancement in Krishna consciousness. Trinadapi sunichena tarodapi seshnuna amanina manadena kirtaniya sadahari. The goal of life is kirtaniya sadahari, that we want to always hear about Krishna, chant his holy name, remembering the Lord, serving. But the key principle is humility. And humility means that I can appreciate the good qualities in each and every living being, because everyone is part and parcel of Krishna. What's the Mahabhagavat? That in Bhagavad Gita it says that he sees the dog, the elephant, the Brahmin, he sees everybody equally, because he sees the Lord in their heart. And someone may be contaminated and have some external bad qualities, but beyond the bad qualities within, he's also servant of Krishna, part of Krishna. So This is the mood of the 6 Goswamis, great ministers, Sanatana and Rupa Goswami. You know, generally, you got, when you're a big government man or have an official position, you know, what do you want? You know, it's like people, they have a certain air or mood of superiority or looking down on maybe others. But the Goswamis, although they were very wealthy, very learned, politically very in the supreme position, they gave it up as useless, gave up the association of so-called aristocrats and learned men, and only accepted very simple lifestyle. I was trying to imagine, thinking, I think we had a cold winter here, or it was a little bit cloudy, no sun, fog. And when I arrived, there was some difficulty getting the room, and I thought, it's 3 a.m, it's a little cold, and you get 15-minute inconvenience of not getting your room. You start feeling anxiety. But then I was thinking, how is it that the Goswamis, during all kinds of conditions, were sleeping under different trees and only with maybe a little wrapping, a little quilt, and eating very, very simple, although they had the facility to, have many maidservants and all kinds of opulence. Doesn't mean that Dharmama should not bring me fruit this morning. He can still bring fruit. What I'm saying, we should not expect that we're going to live a very, very comfortable life and be like Pundrik Vijayanidhi, who was a great devotee of Lord Chaitanya, but he was also very, very opulent. And some people, we heard from Sarvabhauma the other day, that were thinking, well, how is it that he's a great devotee, he has so much opulence, or he's driving in some nice vehicle or whatnot. So Srila Prabhupada, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, they used everything in the service of the Lord. So Krishna's given us this beautiful temple, beautiful deities. I mean, everyone has to admit, frankly, that the deity worship in Vrindavan is the best. The deities are so beautiful, and the kirtans are also the best. So we have the best of everything. I've often heard that lecture of Prabhupada said, yes, I was traveling here, Mexico, Miami, and now I'm in Atlanta, and I see your temple is the best. And yeah, Jai Shri Prabhupada. Were you there then? In 75, Prabhupada was in Atlanta, and he was appreciating Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda. In Miami, the Gaur Nitai and the deities in Atlanta are identical. Gaur Nitai, because I was in Miami for many years, beautiful brass deities of Gaur Nitai. And Prabhupada, in a faltering voice, was saying, take shelter of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda. They are very, very merciful. They're more kind than Krishna, like that, because maybe Krishna is demanding that you surrender. Sarva dharman parityaja mamekang sharanang vraja. Surrender. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gauratashay Namah. Rupa Goswami saying, you're the most magnanimous, the most merciful Lord, because you've given Krishna, love for Krishna freely. You're giving it free. And but who is that fortunate one who will take it? It's like, someone's giving you something so valuable. Stop the repetition of birth and death. Stop the suffering in this material world. Have full knowledge, bliss, happiness, and live eternally in the spiritual kingdom. What is the formula? Harinam, 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 eva kevalam kalu anasteva, anasteva, anasteva gatiranyata. Not only in Kali Yuga, in every Yuga the holy name of the Lord is there. But according to the modes and the circumstances, there's different, and the abilities of the conditioned souls to perform, there was different processes recommended, but the holy name is always the underlying factor. But in Kali Yuga, there's no other way, there's no other way, there's no other way. This tells story Prabhupada sitting in his car, was like crying, chanting, Harinam, 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 Eva Kevalam, Kalu, Nasteva, 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 Gatyaranyata. These conditioned souls, there's no hope unless they have the holy name. So Lord Chaitanya's Sankirtan movement, Lord Chaitanya, he even ordered Lord Nityananda, Balaram, and Haridas Thakur, and all the followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to go out and preach Harinam, and the Lord himself was dancing and chanting. Whenever he would go to the temple, he'd be jumping in ecstatic emotion. And this is not something artificial, it's a genuine feeling of love and happiness to see the Lord. And and a moment like 12 years or more, this is the mood. So that same Sankirtan movement of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, Srila Prabhupada, the same mood, traveling worldwide, and everybody he met, he would give them such inspiration, such feelings, that they would give up their materialistic life and take shelter under Srila Prabhupada in his mission of spreading Krishna consciousness. And when we heard that Prabhupada was very happy for those devotees who are distributing his books, we just had a book marathon. And why is this happiness there? Because a Vaishnava has such great compassion and love and feels the suffering of others. Paradukha Dukhi, that he's Titikshava Karunika, Suhrida Sarvadehanam. He's very merciful, very kind. The Vasudev Datta was praying to the Lord, you give all the sins of all these conditioned souls on my head. Let me suffer perpetually, but give them freedom from this material entanglement. Now, who would think that way? Let me go to jail. Let me suffer, or let me struggle here, and let everyone else be free and happy. So this is the mood of the devotees, and this is Lord Shiva. He's also praying to Sankarshan that please free all these nice devotees. So we want to have that same mood and the same flavor that Srila Prabhupada has. Determination. Very humble, but very bold for Krishna. That yes, we have the most valuable jewel in Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, the holy name, and we should very confidently, be broadcasting. Not fanatically. Enthusiasm is good. Determination is good. But we don't want fanaticism. Fanaticism generally comes when there's a lack of understanding. And Prabhupada said to many times that I don't want just you to distribute the books, I want you to read my books. Everyone should read my books and follow very strictly. Then you'll have the power and the purity. Because it's not a material activity. Many of you who have been on Sankirtan know that when you're there, you're dealing with the mind, you're dealing with the elements, you got police chasing you sometimes, or at least in the West, here they don't bother, so you can distribute a book, but some of our old Sankirtan devotees, we have some incredible stories maybe we'll tell, but many factors are involved, and when you just take shelter, that Prabhupada underwent so much struggle and hardship. You can read Lilamrita, understanding what endeavor just to print the books and distribute books, how much effort he put forward. So we, by putting forward that effort, then very magically, people who would never take the Krishna consciousness, they take books, or you could see the super soul working in their heart. So like Arjuna, he put forward the endeavor and he left the results for Krishna, I'm just putting forward the endeavor. So that's all we're asking. It's not much to ask that we just put forward the endeavor to become Krishna conscious and to give Krishna consciousness to others. Then Krishna will take care of the rest. And this is what we're in this society for, to try to assist our father, Srila Prabhupada, to give the solution to all problems. Isn't it? It's almost like a miracle drug. I think Prabhupada also had some kind of formula that for all ailments. So this is the idea that this holy name in this bhakti, devotional service, is the formula to free one from all suffering, all ailments, all disease. And so we should take it very enthusiastically. And I don't know about some of the specifics here about the 10 billion maidservants, but all we know that he's the most powerful demigod, and he has Mother Durga. She's in charge of the whole fortress that keeps all the rascals imprisoned. So she doesn't want anyone disturbing her Lord. So we should all be in that mood, that humble mood. Not that we should all just start wearing saris and pretend we're gopis or anything, but no fanaticism. I think he said that no other males could be there. He turned them into women. So, anyway, I'm very happy to be back in Vrindavan, and hope we can render a little service, and we should all enthusiastically chant together, take prasad together, and worship the deities nicely. Then Krishna will very happily bring us back home, back to Godhead, back to the spiritual kingdom. So thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Any questions, comments, corrections? Yes, Prabhu. Rama, Kanta Prabhu. I don't know, there's a microphone coming just now.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you for your nice lesson. We see that in the last part of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, anyone who preaches my message among my devotees, then it's the dearest one. So in material life we see if one's son works according to the wills of his father, so every aspect of the father helps the son. We see. So Krishna here says the person who preaches is the dearest one to me. But we naturally see that life of a devotee is full of obstacles, full of hurdles. So why the devotee life is so much struggle?
Why is the devotee's life full of hurdles and struggling? It's like a purification. First of all, if one is genuinely a devotee, he's fully protected, just like Haridas Thakur. He was to be put into the struggle of being beaten in 21 in the marketplace, whipped to death. Okay, whatever, do it. He took shelter, and the Lord personally covered, isn't it? Covered his body and gave protection. So Krishna says, if you surrender to me, I'll carry what you lack, preserve it. What is it? I'll preserve what you have and carry what you lack. Krishna's going to give protection. We're seeing the struggle because we put ourselves into a situation for lifetime after lifetime of forgetting Krishna and trying to be the enjoyer. So that conditioning, that misconception that I am the enjoyer, is difficult to get free of that. So the struggle may be something that helps us to free ourselves of the misunderstandings. And what kind of any specific struggles? I mean, our struggles are because we're still tottering between sense enjoyment and Krishna. But if we really take full shelter of Krishna, whatever struggles there may be there, it's just a temporary external thing. You may think the 6 Goswamis are struggling and suffering. You know, I think Sanatana Goswami didn't even have salt to offer the chapatis to the Lord, or so that would be considered like a struggle. So the material world's full of various struggling, but the example is there for the devotee who accepts this hardship as his own misdoing. Tatte nukampam susamikshimano, that the devotee, he sees that whatever struggle and suffering I'm undergoing is due to my past mischievous or bad activities, and whatever good fortune is due to Krishna's mercy. So the struggle is part of our getting free of our bad karma and bad activities, and that struggle, if it helps us to become more Krishna conscious, as Queen Kunti says, let these anxieties and struggles come again and again, because by this suffering and struggle and anxiety, I'm forced to take shelter of you, then I welcome this anxiety. So it's a perspective of how you see it. If you see the struggle and the suffering as an impetus to increase your Krishna consciousness, it's a good thing. But if you just blame Krishna, blame the devotee, say, this Krishna consciousness is useless, so much struggle, then let me go away, then that's our misfortune. Any other question, comment? Yes, microphone. Yes.
With respect to the fact that Shiva is the incarnation of the Lord of ignorance, how is it that he is the most powerful demigod?
Well, Lord Shiva, the Lord is ultimately creating, maintaining, and destroying. So Lord Shiva has this task of destroying the material world, winding it up when according to the proper time. So, I mean, he's the most powerful demigod because he's an incarnation of the Lord. He's very merciful, and just because he also, people who are in ignorance in this material world also need guidance and shelter. And so Lord Shiva is, just by his association, hopefully elevating those who are sincere. It says so in Bhagavatam, so Lord Shiva is the most powerful. I don't know if anyone has any other. Oh, here, Gopal Prabhu is an authority. He can give us an explanation why Lord Shiva is the most powerful. So he said, Lord Shiva's in charge of the mode of ignorance, but don't think that he's in the mode of ignorance. Mahajan, yeah.
So therefore he's fully cognizant of all of the do's and don'ts for existence in this material world. And his part is to we're all in ignorance. In Kali Yuga, everyone is born into the mode of ignorance. So there's a hell of a lot of ignorant people. So therefore he's got to do it. But he's always meditating on it.
Yeah, because it is described here, as Gopal Prabhu said, that he's always meditating on Sankarshan. He's always in that meditation on the Lord, and he's praying to deliver those nice, sincere devotees, but also he gives facility to others in this material world. Like the Father, he's very compassionate. Even if the son or daughter is a rascal, he's still wanting to give help. And so Lord Shiva, he's giving help and guidance and giving an opportunity to, again, for us to get out of this ignorance and suffering. So Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.